Welcome to session number 26 of Tears of the Kingdom. Just a short bonus stream today to fit in some daily Zelda, since we may be off of it at our normal schedule later today, so we're continuing directly where we left off at the completion of this shrine, and for that matter, this boss that has respawned back into the world. I am actually kind of tempted to whack him a second time just to pick up another core, for that matter, since he respawned directly after we came out. It's a fairly easy fight. Not particularly necessary, although it would potentially allow us to trade up with some of these weapons. Because we got, what, a plus 32 off of the Flux core, which was kind of nice. That is with the Zonite sword powering up behind that, of course. Not exactly what it gives you. I think it gives you like a plus 20 or something on a Zonite weapon as a flat bonus rather than a multiplier, like with some of the Gerudo weaponry. Anyway, current scorecard is we're at 59 shrines and 186 Koroks, just a very minor incremental gain over the previous stream. But that's okay. Yeah, I'm very tempted to farm him for cores again, because we are a little low right now on materials that I can use for a long flight, so perhaps we should determine this based on our next flight destination. Obviously, we do have a couple of different locations we can hit here. I mean, this place that's accessible by waterfall is actually not far. If we have a plane for it, we have springs on a floating platform over there that may or may not be useful. And we have another location over there that looks pretty accessible, maybe. A lot of springs here. I think the idea is that you're supposed to land down low in one of these and then gradually spring your way upwards, but I'm not totally clear. Let's not obstruct our view with the pins. It's a short enough hop that maybe we can get over there with one of my drone flights. But we're not clear on whether... I assume that the loot is actually going to be at the top there by the tree, because, you know, you have all these springs that are theoretically supposed to take you up. And we'll take this for now until we know what to do with it, because of course that place is accessible by waterfall, so I'm not as concerned about it. But we'll eventually want to make our way up here, which is a short distance away and requires quite a bit more elevation gain. I think in the interest of having an additional Zonite charge, I actually do want to farm the boss one more time. Assuming, of course, we'll have to, you know, start trading up some of our Zonite weapons here. Given the elevation there, I should probably leave that location marked, because it does look at least somewhat important. And yeah, let's see what we can do. This tower over here is a bit further along. Doesn't look like we'll be getting there yet. And even so, yeah, it looks like if you land on any of these lower islands, all they do is get you upstairs with floating platforms, and so we shouldn't bother to aim for those at all unless we need them for flight. And a quad fin drone flight that we've been using might be useful for this, but of course the springs do kind of obstruct the landing zones. So. But that would probably be the most accurate way of getting there if we could afford the power consumption. But I'm a little wary of landing that on uneven surfaces, because that's going to slip and slide like crazy. So, very possibly we'll just do a quick rocket glider over there, which will cost me some Zonite, but that's okay. One other thing we can do while we're here is just roll for some more charges, roll for some more devices, even though it's at the expense of charges that we have right now. I believe this gives me... what was it? Let's check. Steering sticks. That's mainly what we're interested in, since we don't get a chance to stock that up all that often. And yeah, we'll just voluntarily defeat the boss again, I think. We still have it available. It's an easy boss. As long as you avoid the hits, which are pretty substantial. I mean, in fighting the boss, I think 4 times yesterday, between this and one on another adjoining island, these Flux Construct Mark IIIs, I think we only ever took 1 hit, which did take down my entire bar, but not too hard to deal with. Especially with the weapon set we have right now. So I would be trading down weapons simply because I only have so many Zonite swords left, but it's okay because we needed to free up slots in our weapon bank anyway. And I'm honestly not too concerned. Oh, except you would need a drone flight to get over there. Yeah, I suppose. That's okay because we can always reuse it after the fight. Assuming he's even there, he seems to have disappeared on me. Oh no, he's there. Okay. Let's build a drone. It is a little bit expensive, but it's accurate, and we can reuse it. And it doesn't cost cores, which is the important thing. So, this is my new favorite toy. Because it's nice and cheap for the short flights, and you can generally land accurately out of that. Oh, whoops. Snapped off. Didn't expect that. Maybe that's just from damage or something. Okay, that's fine. We'll have to replace one fan if we come back here. That can be done. Maybe it's a bit fragile then. You slap it down like that. And of course, if you drop it, it's a little difficult to power back up right away, so you do need accurate landings. Anyway, we defeated this guy previously, and we don't care because we're going to do it again. Main thing to watch out for with him is that he swaps out the relevant slot that you need to poke. So let me just get on a really heavy weapon. And a pounder is already using his core, so we'll probably just put that on him. We're actually running out of swords to put the loot on, which is maybe a mild concern. I want to use... Actually, yeah, these are both the Mighty Zonite swords, so we'll start with this one. And he'll be down in no time. We just want to farm him. Oop, a little bit inaccurate there. Oops. We've definitely been more accurate in the past. And then that's going to trade over. That's fine because we can see its positioning. Just need to be calm and accurate. Then he's going to do the recall blocks, which is fine. As long as we're quick. We just stand still. It should load me properly, so long as we remain calm. Yeah, there we go. And then just smack him, and he's down. Nice and quick. And then we can pick up everything we like. Probably trade another core on one of our weapons. I mean, you know, the Ruby Sword's not great, but it's going to be a lot better than what we have here. Might do it with the Guster, actually. Although we've been using the Guster a lot, and I feel like its durability is going to be on its last legs sooner or later. Yeah, because what is it, plus 32? It makes sense to put it on there. Let's put a two-hander. There's been a one-hander that we've hardly been using because we just had a ruby on it. But if we Yeah, we need more weapons to do this kind of thing, but because we've been using this as a guster quite a bit, I think we'll actually... We've only been using this once or twice. We'll run this dinky little thing here. More the merrier. And yeah, we'll kind of use this as a default weapon, perhaps. Just as a something mid-range. Until it breaks. Now, like I was saying, it looks like we do need an additional fan here, unless we want to, of course, make some kind of jump bot. With multiple springs, but that might be fun if we wanted to do things that way. Where's my vehicle? Is it still here? Might not be. Dude, where's my drone? I guess not. Alright, that's fine then. We'll... It's a bit expensive to reconstruct quickly. Maybe we can see what this intended interaction was supposed to be. I think it was just supposed to be, you know, you tap something and the spring just propels you across. You set it up on a diagonal. For instance... Oh, and there's a stake and everything, too. You probably don't even need that, then. Mostly this was just part of the puzzle for getting the orb across in the first place, but, you know, stakes basically solve everything. You don't actually need flight to get across. I mean, I didn't need flight to get across here in the first place, to be honest. So we spent a lot of zonite needlessly to find out that the fans break off the drones if you hit them too hard. That's okay. We'll be back in the depths eventually, and zonite costs will hopefully be relatively immaterial. And yeah, the stakes just basically are impossible to weigh down. So they're quite nice. And we'll just take this plank, mash it to the end of that. Make yourselves a bridge that is architecturally completely unsound. And we'll just do the recall maneuver to do this one, I think. Let's plop this on top first, just to avoid incidents getting over this gap. Then stall and pull back. Nope. Okay, never mind, we'll just use something else. Didn't pull it back far enough, apparently. Do we have another plank? Or we could, you know, actually do this interaction as intended. Yeah, that's fine. We'll have to think of an alternative here. Probably just drop down a tree. Don't particularly want to use my axe durability on this, but... Oh, we don't even have the axe anymore. We're on hammers now. Because I traded out the stone axe thinking that we were done with trees. Alright, so that was unwise. It's okay. No, what we'll do instead is we'll just have a bunch of sideways springs and do basically the exact same thing. But a slightly riskier object. Yeah, this entire area is supposed to teach you something about how to use springs effectively, but we're not going to learn a single lesson. Actually, yeah, let's do it in a nice high position here, so we can jump off of it. Necessary. Get on top of it, and recall it. Probably shouldn't have done a slap there, but that's okay. So much for conserving your ability. Anyway, we know this continue across, but it would be interesting to kind of use this as a glider launch, but I think it would be a little too time sensitive to be comfortable. But yeah, a single rocket glider should be enough to get over here. It will probably overshoot unless we ram it directly in, but one wing, one rocket, that should actually do it. Don't even need power for that, I don't think. But we're going to find out the hard way. It's not too much of an elevation gain, and worst case, maybe we can just crash into the platform and climb it. Ideally, we want to keep it, of course, but let's see, because wings are fragile enough anyway, then. Oh, and we're so low on rockets. Notice at a previous stream, too. We definitely have to get more. After looting so many rocket chests, too. Okay, let's turn wing upside down for a moment. Just to attach this properly. Even do this and lodge it slightly to get us going in angle. Totally doesn't work. I feel like the additional elevation going here is actually going to be more useful than distance gain from the other place. We're going to find out if that's actually the case. I don't think we'll need to put a fan for it. I think we'll be fine. Yeah, we'll pitch forward more or less perfectly. Oh, lost it. That's okay. Wings are fragile. We'll rebuild. This is not a treasure point, apparently. Looks so much like it should be. Maybe if we're lucky it's a Korok on a tree, but... It is a Korok on a tree. Excellent. We got something out of this. Where do we need to eventually go to get rockets? Let me just check. I believe it's Tarrytown. Yeah, Tarrytown gets rockets is pretty low probability, but everything there is useful at least, which is not so much the case for some of the other places. And we'll eventually want to go back there anyway, so... You know, we should just go down to the depths sooner or later to get more zonite, but... What can you do? Yeah, this will just be a bit of an ammunition point for me as well as we knock things into each other. Okay, that's good. Smash everything up a bit, because that's what you do with ancient ruins that are otherwise pristine and untouched and have been for so long. I feel like I can totally reach this. We would need probably the propeller wing with a steering stick just to make sure I can do the elevation gain. But that location, Either one seems pretty valuable. Obviously, going high to start is easier than going low to start. Now, this is also a fairly prominent point for ascending up the waterfall, but we know that this is easier to have alternative access to, so we should actually aim up there. And let me see how we're doing for charges. We have the 2 large charges now, so we're decent. No, we actually didn't farm a second charge when we defeated the boss again earlier, so I guess 1 charge and lots of spare batteries will have to do the trick. That's okay, because I think with a... we only have 2 rockets remaining if we want to do a diagonal launch. We do an initial diagonal placement on a wing, which we might be able to do if we kind of park it like so, or park it on top of a rock. Then we can have a bit of an off-ramp to hit that location. Might be a little bit tricky to balance initially, but yeah, since battery is the limitation, I wonder if I should go triple propeller for it. Given the distance, I think we have to. But if it fails, it fails. Also, is this closer? No, because that's obviously a much more promising location. Nope, it's not closer. I mean, that looks like a very significant part of the map. Maybe even a full temple or something. Whereas this might just be another bonus island, but it does look conspicuous, so I feel like we should check it. In that case, what can we build? Keep in mind that we're pretty short on battery. Right, and here I was telling myself, oh, we'll just cancel the other one because we'll build fan planes with double rockets for the vertical launch. Yeah, I guess we'll just put this at a diagonal because we're short on rockets and put double fan on top of it. Whoop. Do I have a room? Yes, I do. What? There we go. Okay. I'm going to aim this upwards slightly. We will want the control stick. And it's because of the added mass from the control stick that we also want the additional fans. So, main thing that kind of concerns me here is power. I don't want to use the big battery on this short of flight though, so we need small batteries eventually anyway. We actually have the double battery pack as well off Zonite, which might be useful here. And maybe even excessive considering how expensive it is Zonite-wise. Because, yeah, it's easier just to spam charges, I think. It's like 9 charges to get me through a full bank. Well, we'll see, we'll see. Let's see what we can do. Steering stick. Lots of these now, thank goodness. Actually running low on fans for once. Which I wouldn't necessarily have expected. A little further back of this, I think. Actually, let's look at a diagram. How far back do these tend to be? Well, it's a default. A little further up. Yeah, okay. We got it right the first time. It seems like sometimes the attachment points don't give you a lot of precision, but they actually do follow a grid, just a very difficult one to see. Make sure the fans all face the right direction, of course. It's one of the most important error checks you can do here. should do a new default recipe with these with one rocket. We could have done that, in fact, but oh well. Now, we didn't have the double battery in the recipe pack for a reason. Again, I should really just do battery steering stick. It costs 18. So the trade-off is, you know, is it equivalent to 18 charges? Is it worth equivalent of spamming 18 charges? I think it is, actually. But the question is, can we also attach it to the existing build? I think we should be able to, so... do the battery pack. Battery pack. On top of a surface where it won't be too affected by the spawning effects, what have you. Just want it fairly balanced. Somewhat symmetrical. Yeah, that's good. That's alright. I'm concerned about one battery expiring and the other one just falling off, but maybe the priority order is smart and knows how to handle that. I feel like I shouldn't rely on that, but it's going to be an issue no matter what the battery attach point is, though. Whether the battery expiry order matters. Anyway, this was a very expensive craft. Cost me about 30 zonite for something so simple, but we have complicated business, so let's do it. Also, I need to see where my battery pack is, but, you know, we'll know when it expires. I'll actually get a good sense of how much battery I'm using as well. I might actually need an additional large charge on top of that, given that one cell has already gone off. But of course, if we power off and get into glider mode, that's fine. We could just still crash the craft. I think, in fact, that the double battery pack is perfect for what we're doing here. Absolutely perfect. Let's crash it. Let's crash it. Let's crash it accurately. Wow. Didn't expect this to be an element that sinks? That's hardly fair. What's that all about? What on earth? Suppose we're supposed to ride it down instead of taking a death. Yeah, because as soon as you touch it, it sinks, and the problem is that we were elevated above it. That was unusual. Bit of a surprise. That was a perfect flight, too. How far back have we been kicked? Not too far. Okay, good. That was very unkind. That was a perfect flight, too. I kind of want to see that again, just to see whether there's anything useful we can do with that island. I guess we didn't realize that there was some kind of sinking mechanism there that we're supposed to just ride as a lift down. Yeah, because that was as soon as you touched the middle post, so we just need to not touch the middle post, I guess. Anyway, let's clear all this stuff. But we know that as expensive as it is, that setup is actually fine for what we were building. And it should in fact be in the recent history as well, after the battery attachment. Which means that we can actually no, because we respawn from save. I guess it wouldn't be in the buffer. Would not be in the buffer, okay. That's fine. In fact, if we go with a single rocket, be better. That's something we can build on top of. Let's try to optimize a little bit here. So we have a recent creation test with a single rocket. Maybe we should do that for future recipes anyway, as the basis for a cheap plane. I kind of don't want to mess with something that already works, but we can experiment a bit and optimize. Because this is a setup we'll be using often enough, and we're so short on rockets, we actually do need it. There are a lot of situations where double rocket is totally unnecessary. Anyway, let's build in the middle here, and then we can build everything else on top of it. And we'll need to expend 3 fans, of course, because it's not part of the pre-build anymore. We'll see if it's worthwhile to use this to replace the material cost of what we had. Okay. Well, fans did seem easy to come by, but then I've been pretty complacent about using tons of them, so gradually maybe that has ceased to be the case. The rocket is mostly useful for the initial thrust. And with the steering stick, we're able to keep things balanced. And having a 6-zonite island hopper with a rocket is, I think, generally going to be pretty good. Particularly because wings and rockets are things that expend very heavily. We need the battery pack on top of this. We'll do that. The double battery pack was perfect. Incredibly expensive, but perfect. So we're going to do that again. Actually, let's lay this down flat first, and we'll do double battery. Yeah, I think we're going to scrap one of these schematics. This was what, steering stick plus sled or something? Yeah, we're going to scrap this one. Although I guess that one makes up for a shortage of steering sticks. No, I think we're going to cancel that one, and we'll plug in this one here. We'll just have to remember to flip it over, of course, every time we use it. Something nice and cheap. Actually, I haven't used this that much, even though it was a fun thing to save. Yeah, 18. That's okay. Material cost is not going to be too awful here. And again, the battery pack was perfect for the flight that we wanted, so it's definitely a setup that we want to keep. We'll point this, yeah, a little further up. Of course, this is our first time trying out a single rocket, so hopefully things go well. We'll try to ram it again, except this time we won't be caught off guard by the object falling, which was an unfortunate surprise that maybe we can avoid, so let's try it. And if this really doesn't work out, and specifically as there's nothing to do up there anyway, we'll go down to the waterfall point. Yeah. So we're not supposed to crash land, or if we do, we're supposed to ride the spike all the way down, apparently. We'll see how to do it. Now that I know what's going on here. In the central position. Maybe we can put this down. We just need to not touch the center, I guess. The plane is still here, which is good because we can reuse it. Maybe we can reuse it. So this whole thing drops off. And if it does, I don't know if it actually gets you anything useful. Like if we were supposed to write it down and loot it at the bottom or something. But what is this location? We might have to mark it just to check it out afterwards and see what the landing location is, in case it's a spike that was supposed to open something up or something like that. We'll mark it. And since we're here, it's actually a pretty short hop over there. And in fact, we can probably just use this existing mechanism. Dive over, or possibly even do the drone flight. But that would be more expensive, of course. Yeah, we can power this up. That would be best. It was about to expire, but... if we're able to get enough thrust to launch, which we usually can't, given friction. Maybe that's the point of having triple propeller, though, partly, is that you can, theoretically, try to launch it. Or you just, you know, use recall or something and ride the glider. See if that works. We can try to power it up. Yeah, maybe set it up and then recall it. Like, lift it so it's not touching the ground. Then recall it once you've ridden it up. It's kind of beautiful, actually, as a solution. We should do that more often, and we don't need the rocket thrust at all, actually. Sage as well? Let's see. World map, we'll take that too. Got a lot of depths maps at this point. Yeah, it looks like we still have some durability on this too. Probably not enough to get me to the next location, but... yeah, so we can get there, that would be amazing. But given that we're kind of approaching from the rear, it'll also be a bit of a tall order. As above Kakariko. It looks so prominent. It's a location of interest. Also, because we have a lot of existing fans and control sticks to salvage off this thing, we should actually make a new cheap plane and then salvage parts and replace them. And again, that's going to cost me some zonite, but it's the price of admission. With double battery, I think we can probably make it, just given the distance we covered. Yeah, because we went all the way over here. I think we'd definitely cover it. Seems like the landing point is over here. Obviously, the higher we go, the more flexibility we have. That would approximately be our target, and I think a double battery flight would actually get me over. We're about to see. We'll discover many things. Also, fairies. That's even better. This in itself is a fairy fountain, which I didn't expect. It'd be nice if the fairies didn't get spooked while we attempted to loot them, but we might not actually want ferries in case we need to take fall damage to save our position, but we can always expend them on our way down if we do want to take a dive all of a sudden. Probably best to have them in tow anyway, just in case. Yeah, we can always just consume them on the way down if we're trying to take an intentional fall. I demonstrated that at least once on the stream yesterday. Okay, important thing is to not slip in the water all of a sudden. Oh, no, not you. Not you. Come on, fairy. Get over here. Don't mind my awful depth perception in 3D video games. But yeah, recall to avoid friction for something like a fan plane is something we should use more often. We can use it with a basic fan plane with no rocket launch. And that way we save substantially in rockets. Because you can build a standard rocketless fan plane and launch it out of any location. And perhaps if that is cheaper... Oops. We should continue to go with stuff like that. I think it costs 12 usually. Let me take a look. Yeah, it costs 12. We'll do the thing that costs 6 just to rebuild this and scavenge the parts. Because this wing will not last me long enough. I would not think so anyway. Yep. As you can see, you detach every part and it's just gone. So maybe it takes some durability loss from that as well. I'm not exactly sure. The durability rules are very opaque to me sometimes. But in order to preserve rockets anyway, let's once again go for a single rocket, single plane. And we'll flip it over. And we'll have to spend very heavily on batteries again, but that is okay. Yeah, to conserve parts, it actually makes sense to roll for a lot of steering sticks and fans that you attach and then reuse as often as possible, because those can be scavenged. And if you're island hopping from flight to flight, then you can reduce your overall material cost that way, as long as you crash land a plane accurately instead of losing it. For instance, with the trajectory that we're going to be taking next for this flight, since we're approaching this structure from the back, I think I'm likely to miss a crash land and have to do something else with the plane instead. Oh, let's not forget the batteries. I think that craftable zonite batteries are a very good idea, especially because we know the double pack gives me excellent distance. That is also not excessive. Okay. Yeah, so this might be the most adaptable way to do that. Just basically have a lot of the auto build presets configured to get rockets in good position. I have a lot of the auto build presets configured in such a way that I have a lot of parts that are very adaptable for mix and match play. It might even be at too high an angle. But anyway, I think we can make that distance. Let's do it. And yeah, the rocket carries you up as far as it can go, and then because of the rocket's energy expenditure, first battery attaches right away. Second battery should go with some time to spare on this. course, we're high up in the structure, that's great. If we're down below, that's fine as well. I think we will have the charges to make it. I don't think we should need to use the large charge, but we'll gauge here and see. Actually gain some height because if we're switching back to glider mode for a bit after power expires, that's fine too. We have enough control to do it. Okay, let's just gain some height so we can dive with the wing mode. Nope, that's not going to work. That's going to sink. From all the weight, I guess. Okay. It's unfortunate. Let's get some lift. I was hoping the wing would just allow me to coast. But maybe if you get off the control stick, you can fly it as the wing. That's the thing, is that the control stick wing interaction is sometimes very unintuitive to me. Yeah, GNC bonus stream, especially because we might be doing Maker instead later today, so. Okay. Let's try to salvage this a little bit. Wing expire is going to be a problem very shortly here. Again, we need to take fall damage. We need to make sure we expend the ferry. Let's try to get here as soon as possible. Can I climb? Yes, I can. And yeah, the GDQ stream for Maker is currently scheduled directly against my usual schedule today. Because it does feature many friends at a stream as players and makers, we're likely going to hold off on my next stream until after the relay, depending on how behind schedule they are. At that point, we will probably play the levels. We haven't gotten discovery or autosave on this island yet, but that looks like a Korok point down below. Let's see what this is. I'm assuming that maybe there's something I haven't activated here yet to open this up, given this rather prominent fixture. Here, unless I'm supposed to just go up to it and have the hand activated. Okay, where am I? This totally looks like a dungeon. Oh, and a shrine inside, okay. Let's see if we can open a door. Currently, the race, I believe, is, last I checked, scheduled for 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern, which is often our regular start time, but because GDQ is kind of dependent on how the previous runs go, it could move up, it could move back. And so we'll keep an eye on that. It also depends on whether I'm able to get the public level codes for the stream tonight. If I can't, I'll have to run it tomorrow. Because my understanding is that a few of the GDQ levels, oh look, we have no glider. A few of the GDQ levels, as far as I know, will potentially have some deletable glitches. Zonite Forge Island, that is promising, except of course we have no glider, so we need to find an alternative. It usually takes about an hour and a half. As far as I know. Also, we have lots of stamina, so I can just climb this. We've unlocked the Zonite Forge Island. Let's take a look down here. Hopefully it does allow me to get more charges, because we're perilously low. Okay, this is climbable back up, so let's do the Korok thing, if we can see where the rock is. Right, it's right here, good. Take a bit of fall damage. And let's plug it in. The tip right here. Yahaha. I said yaha ha. There we go. Yeah, James D, in my past experience, the GDQ schedule can be a little volatile sometimes. It's surprisingly reliable given the things that can happen to a speedrun, but you know, there's always going to be a little bit of push and pull as they figure out what fits in the schedule. We have to reach stamina bars. It makes me much more comfortable about playing in this location. Let's try to get inside and crack that shrine. So yeah, you see updrafts like this and the level is basically telling you, you should have the glider. Well, fat chance, we got 3 stamina bars instead. We'll just have to make do. Worst case scenario, I'll show off the drone flight again. Yeah, because you've got lots of little pods here for landing. And maybe it's unlocked some kind of door for me anyway, so... Better to gain some elevation now and explore later. We can climb it. We can totally do it. Assuming I can get around the overhangs. I do have some stamina food, so I'm not too concerned. 3 stamina bars solve a lot of problems. So I believe we're pretty close to Kakariko Village. I think this is maybe the most prominent location above that region. And so we might be skipping ahead of some things here, which is great. This is how we like to play. I always appreciate it when this game follows in Breath of the Wild's footsteps and just letting me do things. Which generally it has been very, very good about. We've complained about a few instances where things are perhaps excessively quest-locked, but, you know, that's not to lose perspective on how that's in comparison to Breath of the Wild, and in comparison to the rest of the industry, this is still an incredibly flexible game that lets me find all kinds of creative pathways when we play under ridiculous and accidental self-imposed constraints. But we will see. Yeah, and 3 stamina bars is plenty. Up there, we might need an ascend point if we have something to stand on. Because the updrafts here do seem to carry you quite a ways at this point. But we'll check all these locations and just explore on foot. As that's how we're doing it. Yeah, there's a bridge up there. It's not reachable here with ascend, but we'll keep that in mind as a potential landing location as well. I'm pretty sure that this is just going to give me another updraft. I doubt there's anything else up here, but we should check. And, you know, we can always spawn an additional thing like a wing part, not to use as a wing, but use as a recallable platform to get me from point A to B. We've got lots of stamina to work with here. Let's see what this is. Maybe even jump down directly? No, I'm gonna miss. You can kind of get a lay of the land. I think the idea is that we need to ride all the way up to the top and then drop back down through the chimney. We can do that. It's not too tricky. Probably the best way to do it is to cross over here and start using ascend to get across from that point. Maybe even get up here and ascend from there too, but that looks a little out of reach, so I think we have the stamina to climb this, we'll just climb it. Yeah. Definitely appreciate now that I chose to prioritize 3 stamina bars instead of worrying about silly things like fall damage. Anyway, let's climb. Assuming that we can actually get over this ledge, which may be a problem. Well, we'll just apply the Breath of the Wild method of looking at the slopes and hoping that something works out. I'm actually going around this way. Solve it. This is the part where the Breath of the Wild brain takes over. From the Tears of the Kingdom brain. Very similar, those two, of course, but, you know, you have to apply old tricks where they do stand a good chance of succeeding, like right here. We know the ultimate destination will be the shrine. Given that this is Zonite Forge, maybe this will also give me something else good. We need to roll for a lot more batteries. A lot more standard batteries. So we don't have to spend 18 Zonite every time. Yeah, this is just another updraft. I think we should ignore it, because we can always scout it from above to see what it is, but I doubt it's going to be good, so... Let's see if we have a send point that is easily reachable. It's like a little out of reach, but if we can stand on this ledge... What? Oh, don't cling. There we go. Tactics 47, welcome. Doing a little bit of a weekend daytime bonus here again, since we have some other things to schedule around today and tomorrow. And also because I can't stay away from this, it's been far too interesting. The past few days in Zelda have been kind of an aeronautical engineering special, which has been building all kinds of maniacal contraptions. I don't know if this area here is going to give me another updraft. It is climbable, but at this point I'm seriously considering that we'll do the drone flight, unless we can get up to that bridge. Which I think we can do. It's not that far. Got 3 bars. I've got stamina food. We're equipped for this. Let me just figure out what my climbing path is going to be. This is a bit of a gentler slope. Do it. Possibly there's a landing that allows me to ascend. And we'll take it slowly. We don't want to expend too much stamina until we have a better sense of how much we need. I think we should prioritize the central column and then just use the camera to scout the other locations from above. Yeah, that's the thing about steering stick plus wing, is that we did have an instant drop once power expired. Whereas if you don't have the steering stick and you're just standing on a glider normally, it shouldn't do that. I think it should kind of go into wing mode. So the kind of mechanic of knowing when to power down a wing with a steering stick is something that we still don't have a very good grasp of. And it's something that we should have understood by now, given just how many wing flights we've taken. Of course, we're steadily eating away at the bank of Zonite as well. We're kind of almost down to 100. Because we've been spending so heavily on making sure these flights actually go. Yeah, this location is just an updraft again. We can check the perimeter, of course, in case it's interesting, but I kind of doubt it will be. You never know, maybe there's a Korok hanging around back or something. Yeah, I don't think it's anything. I think this is just a nice little landing point. This location across, though, I think we're going to ignore it for now, and then what we'll do is that if we get a better vantage point later, we'll try to do a drone flight to drop into it and see what's up with that. It's going to be a long climb to get back up here, especially if we drop down into the center afterwards, and are only giving ourselves updrafts to ride, which we, of course, can't take. We should be able to traverse a little further. And at least see what's going on with this structure from above. This structure, rather. Above. Yeah, if we're a little higher, we can get a good vantage point on it. Right now, I don't want to mess with it. Because we could lose a lot of progress. It's obviously something that you're meant to reach with a paraglider, but, you know, the run is what it is, so. Let's get up here. Looks like it's probably the best vantage point for the next climb. We'll try to aim for this over here. We should have plenty of stamina to spare. We'll see. I'm kind of impressed that this is doable, given how apparently updraft dependent it looks like it is at first glance. But we'll see, because we still need to understand how we're going to wrap around this whole structure here, and we have a natural point to stand on. This one might require some stamina food to accurately traverse. Yeah, because I think we might have some trouble getting onto that side. So we can tuck ourselves in somewhere. Yeah, so it's not actually a good climbing point. We should have found something else. Because even with stamina food, I think we can't necessarily do much here. It's too far off. Yeah, as long as we're on top of a usable landing point. Worst case scenario, what we're going to use is stakes, and we'll use stakes and platforms like wings to create a climbing structure that will get me within range of ascend. Because, yeah, I think this is much too steep above, but I was hoping to get onto this in the back, but I don't think we can do it. Gotta figure it out quickly, though. Because if it's like this the whole way around, then it's not going to help. I think this is a good time for a machine to... Whoop. Oh, good, we got a ferry. Okay, that's one time when I appreciate having a ferry. I was hoping to drop into the ledge and cling back onto it, and obviously that was not successful. Yeah, that was unfortunate. That's okay, we had a ferry for a reason, just in case of issues like that. If we can slap enough power on a drone flight, I think we can actually do it from here. Assuming that I have enough space to build, which I might not. Because that's why we designed this thing to begin with. Let's see if we can do it. We'll have to spend a battery on it, I think. Which is going to be expensive. It's going to be 36 in total. That's going to take me under 100 zonite. I think we need a battery for it. For sure. Which will add some mass, but... yeah. Hideously expensive. But whatever it takes to get the job done. It'd be nice if that wasn't so far off center. Oh, no. Oh, you can't detach it once you build... okay, we wasted like 18 zonite then. Okay, that's fine. We'll do it again. That's right, you can't detach the pre-builds. once you attach things to them, you're kind of set. You can't just do something else. That's too bad. We just wasted so much currency. And I just wanted to rebalance this and turn it around. That's all I wanted to do. Well, maybe it'll pay off. Balance-wise. What we want to do, and just in case of any issues, is we want to turn this inward. I'm going to pull back. Actually, I'm trying to think about what is best for my visibility of where we're going. Yeah, we want to pull back and back up front. Let's see it. That's how to play this game. Well, of course, the battery consumption is pretty intense. But it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. But exactly where we needed to go. It might even be within the ascend range. Get us through the center on the top level if we can. But no, ascend can do the rest from here. We take a dive. Perfect. Despite the massive zone I lost from a battery error. Now, the thing about this vehicle is that once you expend battery, it is effectively reusable. Okay, this is going to be a massive drop as well, that without an updraft, it might be some trouble, but we've done it before. We do have some rings to stand on the way down, so maybe we're okay. We should actually check the top of the structure, though, in case of Koroks or something. Assuming we have a gentle way to climb back down, which we might not, which means we should get back to the drop. Just to see what we can do. Assuming the parts don't expire, that's the main thing I'm really concerned about. Because they shouldn't, but that has caught me by surprise. Time to time. Okay, great. You can get to the top level. Maybe that's something good. Excellent. As long as we don't whack the fans directly. Gets me where I need. This has got to be something, right? Yeah. Okay. Now then the idea is to kind of drop the fan down below, drop the drone down below, and then get it into a recall position. Well, let's scan around up here first just to see what's going on. This is the best vantage point we've had in a long time. That'll give me a good sense of where else we can traverse if we come all the way back up. Also, we should see if we have some visibility on that chimney or whatever it was. I don't think we can just quite see it from this ledge, though. Yeah, so the idea, I mean, obviously this is designed for paraglider play, but we kind of drop the vehicle off to the side, pull it back up, recall it down, then we can maybe swing it under the ledge. We might just be able to drop as well, but I want to do something fancy, so let's do something fancy. Let's do this in style and get ourselves in all kinds of trouble. Okay, so the idea is move down. We can't actually move it that far down. Okay, pull it back up. What we do is recall it and then we power it up to try to bump it forward. I hope this works. maybe not. What would we... okay, that was a mistake. Oh, we still had an extra ferry. Okay, fine. That was still a mistake. I didn't realize we still have one. Okay, that's fine. We should have taken a death, but that would have reset the whole climb, so maybe we're okay. We don't have much zonite left to do a second drone flight like that, but that was obviously the way to go up. And we did get Korok at least, so let's try to reset our position and do that a little better. Where are we? We are in this tower, so we should actually try to climb it to see what is up there. Maybe drop down after that, because otherwise we have a long drop ahead of us anyway. Or is this just... yeah. Because maybe we can do the drone build on top of there again. And that's the problem with the drone build, is that we don't have a good way to descend from it. As we just saw. Without kind of powering down. And maybe it'll cost me less battery power to start a little lower. We were starting on this rung previously. So we kind of need to get back there. But before we do that, we'll heat up. Make sure we're topped off. And the question is, can I get up here at my current stamina bank? I think I probably can, but wrap around and we'll see. We know there's going to be the big laser drop after that, which hopefully we can do without the glider just by climbing. I mean, we did it before in the Lightning Temple. Exact same thing, just shorter. So, assuming that there aren't any issues with overhangs or whatever going down a chimney, the same method should actually work. So, let's take it up and see what happens. Is this very much of a drop? It looks like it might be. But it could also just be a Korok point or a treasure point. Surprised if it's nothing. But maybe it's nothing. Oh, it totally is a Korok. Of course it is. Where did it go? There it is. Yeah, it's too prominent not to be something like that. Just a question of what kind of Korok, and it is going to be the chase. Up the steps, up the tower. This is a longer chase than anything we had in Breath of the Wild. But we'll get you to the top position. Right up to the summit. We can do another drone flight from here. Do that before we attach the battery. Like get over to the previous launch point, then maybe we're okay. We have to be pretty careful about how we position it though. Like, we don't want to pre-build it with the battery just yet. Maybe we do actually. No, we don't, because we don't want to use the battery yet. So. Now, will it be in a balanced position? Place it up here. We don't want it to fall off right away. This is the main issue. Okay, good. Then if we can turn it around and take it up. Yeah, we need more zonite. We need to get back to the depths soon. Because we are running out of resources. After several errors. And we're basically spending about 60 more zonite than we needed to just on error correction here for things we could have done quite easily. What? Okay, that looks fine. Let's move over to the next pod. The problem, of course, is dropping this, which is always an issue, but we should have actually gone over here to the updraft location because that's a much safer landing point. Oh yeah, that's much better actually. Let's do it that way. Let's just... no, this is the best we'll reorient it, I think. Let's just make sure we take it over. Okay, let's fly it. We'll take it over here. And then drop it. Hopefully over. Updraft we can't. Actually, the updraft is kind of nice in this thing. Nope. Like I said, the powering off is a bit of an issue. Okay, that's fine. Maybe we'll get tons of resources back. Except we must have auto-saved at the Korok. So, which is also fine, because it means if we auto-saved at the Korok, we would be in this position to start. I kind of like that the Koroks effectively work as save points. And yeah, snake behavior, I think ow is the operative term here. Okay, we went a little high on that one. We should probably just climb back to this position or to that position. But yeah, we need to drop a little more safely when we do that so it's not imbalanced. I think we can do it again. If we die, whatever. We know this is the spawn point. Yeah, again, I need a better descent mechanism on this thing. Like, possibly from fans are able to thrust me upwards or something, but... yeah, because we need some way to make this stuff go down. We don't really have that. Okay. Why don't I just hint advice Backseat Gaming? Exactly. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't we think of that? Whoa. Oh, that didn't build. Okay. I was kind of concerned we would have expended a very, very low bank of zonite here. Hang on. Because we're running out quickly. Very quickly we're running out. Oh, maybe we did build that and we accidentally smashed it. Okay. That's okay. Again, if we lose resources, we'll just roll with it. Just need to do tons of zonite mining to compensate later on. Okay, let's reposition ourselves properly this time. Before we take a massive spill. Like I was saying. I wonder if this will ride the updraft in place of the glider. You would think given the wind mechanics in this game it would, but we'll try the batteries anyway, just in case. Even though, again, my batteries are running super, super low. And my zonite is running extremely low at this point, so... But we knew we needed a battery flight for this elevation previously, so I'd rather not take chances. And then, yeah, we'll build it first and then attach it. Try not to make it accidentally disappear. And then we'll get a nice vantage to get into the proper location, and then we need to do the drop after that through all the lasers. It's a very satisfying vehicle to fly, I'll give you that. Yeah, actually the updraft helps quite a bit. It saved a tremendous amount of battery power. It saved me a full battery, in fact, to ride the updraft. So we should have done that in the first place. Create a drone vehicle instead of a glider when we want to do updraft rides. I won't want to take the vehicle here, obviously, because we can't descend properly with it. So we'll just have to burn that battery and live with that. But if we can, in fact, find an appropriate location to walk on here, and drop in such a way that we can do the wall climb, then we should be okay. Not quite confident in that because, again, depth perception is not great. But we aim for those rocks or something. Yeah, it's kind of underneath. Will it give me to climb down? Yeah, it will. Alright, so let's just assume that the climb down input is going to work on those ledges. It will. And now we just dodge lasers all the way down, and that'll be all fun and games. We just need to go ring to ring with this, so stamina should not be a problem. As long as we aim for locations that'll allow me to cling onto things. That was surprisingly effective. I don't know how often that's going to work. Oh, spinning lasers. Look at that. That looks fun. I think we're supposed to, like, build shields around ourselves or something. Like, if I should have considered this. Going upstairs and building a mechanism that allows me to shield myself all the way around by using... Like, we need to spend multiple wings or something to do it, or logs. But you basically build a defensive wall around yourself. And you just drop. And then because you're on top of a surface, it should break fall damage. I feel like that's a much more sensible way of doing this, given that, like, I mean, lasers everywhere. Like, absolutely everywhere. But currently we're too far down to have a good building location, which means I should climb up, perhaps. Snake behavior, you went a couple days without a glider. Yeah. The thing is, I'm not necessarily intentionally playing with a glider, and if I want 100% in shrines, I know I have to pick it up for at least a few shrines that were kind of a hard roadblock. But I am playing with no fast travel, which meant that because I missed the glider initially, I just never went back to get it. Because we are having too much fun figuring things out without it. That laser trap is going to be an issue. I think if I have something to stand on down there that allows me to build, I'm probably okay. But right now I actually like the idea of just spending, you know, a whole bunch of wings or something to build like a defensive triangle using trees or something of the sort. And just kind of walling off my way down. But we'll see, because that looks... we can probably climb it. It's probably more of a climbing challenge than a drop challenge. We can climb it. We just need to make sure we find an appropriate location to drop in so we don't get zapped. And we need to take damage by diving inward against the wall. That's what we should do to try to regain the climb. Do I mind suggestions? I prefer that you watch me fail first, but if you have a particularly good idea, who knows? I want to scout ahead first, just to see what we're dealing with. But if this fails, I think the notion of just building something to drop myself down should actually work, depending on what the projection points are for the lasers. Like, if the projection point was from the center, maybe that doesn't function, but we'll see. But yeah, no worries about that snake behavior. I mean, this is a pretty interesting thing we're looking at here. And I don't know if it's something that you've also done already. There's a little bit of content, but yeah, we should aim for locations where we can, in fact, drop down to the next ledge. That's a little aggressive, but okay. We probably shouldn't have done that. I was trying to cling back onto the wall. That's okay, we have food. We have food. We're okay. 1.5 here, 1.5. Yeah. We'll just do a 4-heart meal if I have one. Or not. You don't think you've been here, yeah. Oh. It's obviously meant to be a glider drop, but, you know, we don't do the obvious thing. And, okay, camera is a bit of an issue at this point. Let's just try to figure out an overhang that will get me a platform to land on. I actually want to be maybe as close to rock as possible so we can cling on quickly. A little difficult to tell sometimes with these ledges. Yeah, we'll take a little bit of damage at a time, but that's okay. It's not too much. Just wrap around here where we have some more rock face. I'm not safe resetting, no. That feels like it's against the spirit of playing with no fast travel. Occasionally, if I'm taking fall damage, I will intentionally take a death. Like, I'll intentionally try not to land in water. And so that's the closest thing I do to a save reset, is I will just take a death and use the autosave. It does mean that we've had a few situations where I did need to repeat things like entire mini-bosses because the autosave timing was not very good, but I honestly don't mind that too much. We roll with it. Yeah, that's not going to go. Honestly, though, if we actually still had to ferry, that would have worked. But I spent my ferries already, so... We're going to try the drop machine that I was talking about. It will be expensive, but we can do it. And I have spare wings in my bag, so... I think we can actually do it. Did we just make a box or a triangle or something? How far back am I? Over here? That's fine. That's fine, we know how to get back up. We know, in fact, that it doesn't take too much battery charge to ride the updraft, so we will try to be more cost efficient this time. And probably not use the full... Come on, controller, or me. Try not to use the full battery bank, because that hits the Zonite budget way too hard. Yeah, back to 68 Zonite, which is nice. So, you know, every attempt will be a little bit better than the last, I hope. And we can salvage the platform for parts on the way down. So what we'll do is we'll fly it. Yeah. Drop it over here. Probably take a little bit of fall damage from bad spill on the way down. Whoa. Away. Hey, look at that. No fall damage. We're learning. We know this will expend one battery on the way up, but because it's only one battery, I think it's better to spend charges. If we have them. Yeah, we'll just spend charges. I think that's more efficient at this point. Okay, so let's do it. Because the updraft is quite good here. Although we're off the updraft at this point, so who knows. Yeah, actually, we don't even need to spend charges. We've got plenty of battery to do this. Gentle landing. Great. Oh, we can't take this apart because of... No, we can take it... We can put walls on it anyway and reuse this platform. Because we're not going to power it up. And so it doesn't matter. We're going to be able to drop it, I think. The issue is how I actually get on the platform. If I enclose it on all sides. That's something slightly unsolved. But maybe... Okay, so what happens if I do... Like, if I lift this, can I do recall plus ascend? This is the question. So let's say I lift this up here. I suspend it. I lower it. If I recall... Am I able to ascend? Yes. Yes, that works. Which means that if I enclose it as a box on all sides... Hang on. Which means if I enclose it as a box on all sides, I can actually prepare a drop into the pit. Using that method. So, what we're going to do is we're going to spend some wings, probably. Wings are difficult to come by, but I feel like they will be useful here. Unless we have additional flat panels or something, that will be less expensive. That's okay, I'm kind of down on Zonite. We need to do something here. So we're going to use wings. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do some kind of recall play. We need to map this out in advance to make sure it works. The idea is that I'm going to use recall to drop the platform over the center after I've had a chance to enter it. Now the problem is that we need part of the recall path to give me a moment to ascend through the middle. Oh, unless I just climb on a side and drop in. That works too. No, I can climb on a side and drop in. Yeah, that's fine. We don't need to do anything as complicated as recall plus ascend, although it's nice to know that's doable in case we want to use that for something at some point. Anyway, we're going to spin a couple of wings and build a wall. This is very expensive, but probably necessary. Okay, it's one wing at a time. We might even be able to do this with 3 wings. The idea will be to create a shield. And just box ourselves in. We need to be fairly precise here because we can't reuse this thing. Because we detach the wings, we lose the platform. That's okay. We might have alternatives if we log some of the trees that are surrounding us here. So we have to be very accurate here. Let's check my positioning. Yeah, it's very hard to see sometimes. No, what we should do is we should place this against a wall, like we did with the last one. And let's get builded on the end. You saw a streamer building all kinds of various boxes trying to get into Death Mountain. I've been to Death Mountain. I don't know why that would be necessary, but maybe there's something about Death Mountain I haven't seen yet that I need to know. Because I've been there and I can't think of what that interaction would be. But anyway, we got this. The problem, of course, now is trying to enclose it around, which we can do. We need more wings. Whoops. This will be expensive, resource-wise, but yeah, but maybe if we pull it over like this, we could attach wingtip to wingtip. No, what we should do is we should bunch it up against the wall so we have it aligned. No, we can do it this way. Kind of match it up like this. Then, yeah, I'm doing the reversal so it'll actually kind of fit. Let me build one more. if I can. Let's not destroy the whole thing. And because we're riding the platform down, it will break any fall damage, and it should be okay. We might need to crouch into it, that's the only thing. And that's assuming that there are no beam emitters that are like centrally located. That's going to dislodge the whole thing. But I think, judging from the previous fall, we're going to be okay. He was doing gliderless, but not as his first run. Yeah, I know some other people have been doing gliderless as their second run. This is my first run, and I am finding out along the way what I can or cannot do. So far, the scorecard for cannot do is 3 shrines. And I have completed 59 shrines, I think. So yeah, this is coming in a little bit low for the wings. Let's try to dock this a bit better. It's a bit unbalanced. Let's try to put it on a ledge or something. Maybe even flip it upside down or something. Oh, I see, because the wingtip is a bit low. Okay. We will actually then nudge that against the wall and just try to attach everything else that way. Let's see if we can do it. Have to be fairly accurate so I can make sure that we completely enclose. I love that this game just lets you do stuff like this, if you want to be especially ridiculous. Yeah, we should do it from this side. So it's on a tilt. Let's see. I don't want to do it this way because we can't really see the positioning really well, but we can't detach anything at this point because it'll break the pre-build. Okay. Let's get a wingtip to wingtip as before, if we can. Problem is that I can't see my position. But if we go kind of wingtip to wingtip, we should be fine. That was a disaster. We're probably going to get zapped. But that's okay. Well, that did not work. It's in a totally... no, it's in the right orientation. I think that's fine. Okay, no, it's fine. We have a wall. It's way too low. Yeah, that was bad. We actually need to reverse the whole thing then. The steering stick will actually not be in the way this way, so this is better, perhaps. This is slightly better. It's not great, but we didn't have a convenient way to build that. Yeah, as with Breath of the Wild, but even more so, the thing that really impresses me is that so many mechanics are just intuitive, where you think, okay, is this the way that lift is supposed to work on an aircraft? And it just works, right? Okay, let's not climb that wall. That's going to be a problem for getting on board. We need to get on board reliably, and then we need to recall it into a stable position. And I'm kind of worried that this whole thing will tumble over. But if we line it up correctly... Yeah, because I wasn't expecting to use these wingtips as the landing point. Wow, we really blew it with this last placement. That made things very unsightly. We might have to rebalance this with like an additional object below this wingtip just to rebalance. But then I might weigh things down unnecessarily that way, so it might be a bad idea itself. Let's figure this out, because I did kind of ruin this all of a sudden. I'd have to rebalance, like use a log or something like that. That's okay. If it's a straight drop, like if it's a straight drop from recall, a drop is a drop, and hopefully it won't tumble over the whole way down. As long as the... Yeah, if the initial orientation is okay, so let's bunch it up against the wall. The initial orientation is okay. Then we might be fine. Like, we bunch it up like this before it drops. So it's straight. And the idea is that we climb. We need to rehearse this. We climb, and then we recall. But it does mean I'll need to nudge it against this position. So let's do it. I'm going to move the whole thing over here, over the center of the pit. We're going to stall it. And we're going to move it back. Then we'll bunch up against the wall. And then we'll recall and we'll drop. Okay, wish me luck. This is looking pretty exposed, actually, but... Recall. Hopefully this works. It looks ugly, but... we're not doing this for the beauty. Oh, rebalance, rebalance. Oh, the wings are interacting with the updraft. I should have reversed the wings, maybe. The wings are interacting with the updraft. That's, unexpected. I guess we can't use wings as the walls, then. Do we have enough trees for logs here? Maybe not. That's unfortunate. Maybe there's a better way to do this. You know, if the wings are interacting with the updraft, then we just use a wing as a base? No? Or we can just say, you know, like, I mean, I don't know how much damage the lasers will do, whether it's an instant kill or something. Maybe we can just ride down and take a hit. If we make the central structure disappear, we can still salvage the wings. And maybe we can make something happen. That was an unfortunate circumstance. And actually, if this were a balanced construction, that might have been avoided. Kind of expected, yeah. I do have other stuff to build with, but I'm on a very, very low budget. You might be able to use something like springs as the wall. Because springs are fairly big. But I think if I detach anything, the central platform just dies, right? So we have to be careful here. And I think these trees might be too thick to drop down, which is a problem. Because we can't just log them for parts. How about this? How about this? Okay, let's take this apart and let's try to salvage the wings. Actually, the platform is alive. That's good. I didn't know if that would be the case. Let's flip it again. We can try it with springs, but it won't be as wide a wall, I think. Like, we'd need to totally box in the control stick. It might work, though. Balance-wise, we also have wheels. Wheels could work, actually. I don't quite know about their size, though. I think springs might be best because we actually do know how much room to take up. Yeah, too bad about those wings. Well, springs aren't going to cushion a landing if they're built as a wall on the side, right? Like, that's not going to work. I don't care about cushioning the landing though, as long as this lands straight. Like as long as we have a landing that goes dead center and just goes straight down, we should actually be okay. Because it'll work just like balloons that collapse or whatever, right? And indeed, if this doesn't work out, we'll probably do something with balloon basket. Too bad, 4 wings though, that was expensive. We have lots of wheels, we have lots of springs. I don't know if the springs will quite work as a wall. We might need to use lots of these. That's the thing, and maybe the problem with the wings was that we had them facing out. But no, they'll be blown by the wind regardless, so... But we had them all at a diagonal. No, they'd be blown about all over the place. That shouldn't be a risk I take. Well, let's try with the springs. Let's see how big they are. And let's just take out one to be careful. We'll try our position here. If they are tall enough to... Actually, they're pretty big. They're decently sizable. We need to build them in somewhat. Like this. To really enclose the box. And this control stick is going to get in the way, but as long as we don't accidentally activate it, we might be fine. Let's make sure we build symmetrically. Very, very important. Okay. Can we still fit in here? Yes, we can. Just looking a little more optimistic. Okay. The thing is, as somebody who's been playing with a paraglider, I spent the whole game not actually thinking about updrafts. And as you can see, that has led to issues. But we'll enclose the box. And yeah, for balance reasons, we'll attach on the opposite side here. Okay. Looks good. Looks good. Let's hope it works. We need to make sure that the recall is going to be level, so... Let's just make sure we start in this position here. Let's find a flat patch that's not on grass if we can. Whoa. The whole thing's too lightweight, maybe. That's concerning. You know, I think it's partly because we have this clear platform here, too. Because wind just blows right through it. If we had a hard platform, that would maybe not be as much of an issue. Like if we build an additional spring below or something. Just to make sure it doesn't get pushed. Yeah, because the whole structure is blown up. I almost wonder if we used a drone flight. No, we can't do that. Yeah, springs are very, very lightweight, so... Yeah. So maybe the wings weren't really the problem to begin with, it's just that everything's gonna get blown. Like you basically need to be dead center for the fall. Or you need to weigh this down with something. Like, put some additional mass on it. Stabilizer. Stabilizer. This is the stabilizer's time to shine. Except no, the stabilizer takes power. And we can't do that because if we power up, we break the whole platform. But then, what if we just build a 5th spring as a spring box? Or perhaps even build a stabilizer as a thing that we want to stand on. No, the problem is that if we activate the device, then all the springs go spring. And that would not be a good place to stand if they did that. Stabilizer should have been what we did in the first place. Except... yeah, except the wings are still going to be taken upwards, aren't they? Because what if... well, the problem is that we still need to do the wall, right? So, you know, building just doesn't help if we don't have a wall. Of course, if we take a death here, then we lose a ton of resources anyway, but... Blood Moon, not a good time. Not a good time, Blood Moon. Hole in the middle and everything. Yeah, I know. Well, let's see. I need to let the Blood Moon run, I think. But the problem is that it might autosave me past Blood Moon without any of these vehicles that I've built, which is my concern.
When the glow of the blood-stained moon...
As we have an autosave here, as we do, then next reset I lose all these resources. But then at least we don't need to redo the drone flight up here. I'd really like the next one to succeed here, so let's see. So, if we built something using the stabilizer, maybe even build a wall around a stabilizer that isn't affected by power. Like the wings, for instance, like build a wing wall around a stabilizer. Power up the stabilizer and use that as a drop platform. Yeah, because right now, like, we can't power up the stabilizer if it's attached to anything that uses power. So, or anything that gets activated. We could potentially dock it around something like a balloon basket. Actually, a balloon basket with no balloon inside. Put the spring walls around it. It's okay if the springs activate, as long as they wall you off. Maybe. Let's figure this out. We'll come up with some kind of stabilizer build if this doesn't work out, but my thinking is, like, stabilizers aren't that big, but if you stand on one and if you have wings creating obstructions around it, then the wings will act accurately as the walls without being blown. Can I show where I am on a map? Yes, I am here. As you can see, I have no map, but this is directly above, close to, well, this corner of the region here. Yeah, so that hopefully gives you a sense, like right in this region between the villages. I think we must be pretty close to the fort, actually. Last line of defense against the Guardians. I mean, it's obviously supposed to be a paraglider drop. If you have one, but... we stand here. Actually, maybe the stabilizer idea works. Because if you use the control stick late enough, Yeah, the fans power up, and the updraft is a problem because, like... But we know that this gives you an initial drop. Let's try it. Let's try it. We need one stabilizer to look at just to see what's going to happen here. And we need... It's not big enough to do the big wing attachment idea, but it might be big enough to do this, where... I mean, it doesn't need to be in a central position necessarily, it just needs to stand up straight. At some point. No, my problem is powering up the wings, of course. I don't want to power up the fans. But we might be able to get a straight drop without tumbling everywhere. If we drop down low. My problem is that I really, really don't want these wings. So we might actually want... like... And a wing is going to try to fly and crash into a wall. That's my issue here. Oh, and yeah, no, stabilizer with this will not work because the springs will try to spring. If they spring outward, that's okay, like if we turn them all around. But then we would need to turn them all around. But we can make like a spring box. Like, am I able to sit in here? Okay, let's forget about this platform for a moment. I got a better idea. I've got a better idea. We need something that can be used with the stabilizer without any issues from things like the fans from the drone. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a kind of cube if we can. It's going to go outward. We're going to have the opportunity to test this too before we drop it. So, because we need a drop platform that doesn't give me any upward propulsion. And then do it like this. Then we still have a wall. We don't really have a wall. Here's the issue, is that lasers can potentially come through here now. Yeah, that doesn't work then. Enclose all sides with springs and ascend into it and free to bounce. Yeah. But the problem is that everything is too lightweight right now, right? Close all sides with springs and ascend into it. I think what we actually need to do with the springs is activate them first. Like, get them into the activated state. I think that's actually the solution here. That you need to activate them first and then attach them in that form and then maybe toggle them. Do similar things with any other items I have. We could do wheels, actually. Wheels might work for this. No, because the problem I have right now is that if the craft is too lightweight, then the wind blows me all over the place. I need something that's not going to be lifted, but which will work with the stabilizer when the stabilizer powers up. If the stabilizer powers up, I need it to not activate anything else that will disrupt the mechanism. Yeah, big tires might actually be a lot better. But because then you don't have issues with springs being springy. Because what happens if... we need to spend some durability, basically, on trying stuff, but... Because what happens... Let's try to activate all these pieces at once, first of all. Just to see what happens. Hopefully not lose all of them. Because a pre-activated spring, when it's powered up again, Let's see. Let's see what happens when we just tap them. Okay, good. Now, if they're pre-activated, and I then use them as well. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're so lightweight. Yeah, if the weight is an issue, maybe the stabilizer won't help anyway. Basically, if you attach them like this. And then go like this. No, like this, rather. Actually, yeah, let's try this. First of all. They contract. They expand. Actually, expansion is fine. So the stabilizer method will work. It will work. But we need enough room to stand on it, which is potentially the issue. So what we need to do is we need to create an additional spring. Actually, yeah, no, it's okay. The thing I was worried about is not actually a concern. My concern was that if we attach the springs poorly, then they could just squish me or something if we activated them. But that's not the case. They spring outwards. So then what we need to do... We basically need some kind of platform to stand on. That will not be activated. And we should kind of pre-activate this one as well. This. The stabilizer activates, it should basically contract. This is really hard to see. We basically have a spring box here we can dive into. It's currently going to be too lightweight, but if we have the stabilizer active, as we will. The thing, of course, with a stabilizer is that will consume battery, and we need to be aware of that. So stabilizer will go here. Otherwise we won't be able to stand in the center. Look at this beauty. Absolute beauty. Of course, actually climbing into it is going to be a bit of a challenge. And it might still have some weight problems, but... Let's try to get into a position where it can fall accurately. Okay. That's not it. We have to prop it up on something. If it's going to fall in this direction, then we just turn it. Perhaps. If it has a natural falling direction, we can always like rebalance the springs or something, but... Yeah, it is going to kind of naturally fall towards that position. Actually, let's turn on diagonal. We need a way to enter this, basically, before it activates. Or we pre-activate it and then do the recall. Let's just show you what happens when we tap it, first of all. Look at that. Except it consumes battery. That's fine. What we're going to do is we're going to move it. Stall. Move it back. The battery drain is not bad. Climb into it if we can. Climb into it if we can. Hopefully this doesn't get blown all over the place. This will take the whole construction with me, or does it tear? Let's go. Well, this is fun, but maybe not what I need. It's too light. It's a lot of fun, but it's way too light. I think we need to drag it down with a wing or something, but it's really cool. I mean, there's no question about that. But the updraft is a problem. Whoop, nope, hang on. Well, we're gonna die anyway, so much for the resource consumption on that. Is there water for me to land on here? There isn't. Well, what do we do all that for? Well, we learned a lot today. It's like getting an engineering degree and just deciding to skip off to a coffee shop or something to work. It's a moral victory. We found out about what to do for later. We just spent way too much. Yeah, no, I didn't notice it was water because we had a deadly drop the first time, and because I assumed you would need to do a safe drop. So we just came down here without hitting anything out of luck. Okay, that's fine. We should have just done that in the first place. Anyway. You know what? We can get some additional parts. That saves ourselves some trouble. Look at how many parts I used on that thing. I used 4 wings, 5 springs, 1 stabilizer, and of course, well, the zonite for the drone was previously available. So okay, that wasn't too bad. It's just that wings are difficult to get, and we've been using zonite like crazy to build them. But let's see what this is. So yeah, it turns out we could have just done a skydive in the first place. We just didn't realize because of the dead. Ooh, homing cart. First time I've had that available directly, which is nice. Flame and frost. Flame is difficult to get, so we do have that. Anyway. We learned a lot about this game today, so let's just get the shrine and get out of here. Although, interestingly enough, if perhaps completing the shrine disables the security system, we can use the drone build again to ride this out. And get back to the top level, and then rather easily plan for the next flight. But before we do any of that, we should probably open up the shrine just to see what happens. I do have a way of doing things the hard way, as you can see. And look at that combat shrine. Excellent. It's not just going to give me a freebie. Proving grounds low gravity. Alright. Here's the thing about low gravity. Do we care about not having a glider? No, we don't, because you can ascend all over the place. And there's also the hover platforms everywhere, so... Now, the problem is, we have no bow, no ammo. But if we just rely on knockback, these guys will be... Whoa, low gravity, I see. I have not seen this mechanic before. It literally is low gravity. I love how it gives you a little tutorial for that, too. I have not seen this mechanic at all in this game. That's interesting. I bet we can do rocket launches and such if we find this accurately. Oh, he's going to tap a rocket. That's a bad idea. Now, because of the low gravity, he does not take fall damage. Which means we need to find some alternative for defeating them. We need to loot some things first, then. Can we ascend in midair in a jump? I actually don't know this. But yeah, no fall damage. Can I launch a rocket? Yes, we can. Except we lose a spear, and that's okay. We'll get more weapons. Wooden stick, wooden stick. Let's get one with a fan. Or even just activate a fan. No, we want it with a fan because then we can blow things away. This is really neat. I wonder if this exists elsewhere in the game, or if it's just here. Spike ball. We should get ready to merge into the spike ball. As soon as we can. Because this guy would take it otherwise. Okay. It's explosive or not? No, just barrels. Good. Our bows. Bomb barrel club. Yeah, that looks like something that I don't want to mess with too much. Unless we throw it. Okay, we can scout in advance. We have a spike ball, we have a bomb barrel. We should use a bomb barrel on one of them. And just fight the other one directly. Well, there's that. But no fall damage. We could have played that a little more cleverly. No arrows, okay. We do have construct horns, at least, for weapons, potentially. If we want to replace that with a fan guster. No, we'll go spike ball here. In fact, there's a fire weapon that we can pick up. Which no longer has fire, but... Where did this guy go? What? Easy. Captain Two Blade. Excellent. We have no arrows. However, we do have this platform. Which platform? That platform. We can ascend through it when it comes down next time. There's a real Super Mario Galaxy moment in this game, which I didn't expect. Captain Two Blade, yeah, we're using that. And bomb barrels all over the place. I don't like that. Let's get out of here. And by get out of here, I mean stand way too close. And miss. Yeah, you actually do need the sticks then, and then... Long range. That's not long range. But we blew everything up anyway. Excellent. Very cost efficient. Very cost efficient. And we were out of range, which is excellent. Hover platforms. Yeah, we'll just use those. I'll take that, thank you very much. Oh, I see. So you can maneuver over to that guy. Let's see how good we are at jumping. Low gravity, hopefully better than we do in Mario Maker. Whoa. Oh, that was bad. That's okay. Captain Blade. What? He's got a fire weapon here too, and that guy has a fire weapon too, which is to the point. Whoa, that's getting close. Yeah, we need to primarily worry about that. Stand out of the way. Okay. That's the main risk factor at this point. Like I was saying. This is a lot of fun. This is one of the best ones in the game yet, actually. I mean, I love the no equipment combat shrines to begin with. Just like I adored Eventide Isle in the first game. This might actually be the best one, though. I'm glad we earned a way here and that it didn't just give me a freebie. We got pretty lucky on that triple kill with the bomb barrel, though, so we can't rely too much on a move like that again. But this is great. Like, absolutely great. Did I have something I could loot early? I didn't think so. Let me see. I thought it was a device like a fan or something we could pick up right away, but let's scan around for tools. Yes. And actually didn't wind up using that. Long stick, wooden stick. Yeah, I don't know that a fan will be that useful for blowing things out of position until you get near the top, but yeah. Give me a little bit of damage at least. Or just blow everything away. Ah yes, the rockets. Okay, let's switch to my other weapon and use it now. Okay. Let's make another one. Yeah, it is the bomb barrel location. We're obviously going to blow everything up. Soldier Reaper, that's fine. Just need to not stand too close to anything here. The Gusters might be good here, actually. Let me just think about this for a moment. Do we have something throwable? These guys are going to blow themselves up if I'm not careful. Let's crowd control them a little bit. Detach and use a bomb? No, we'll... Oh, no, wrong weapon. Okay. Okay, we zone them out and totally miss. We should actually use the bomb barrels for the next platforms. Grab the swords if I can. A little low on weapons right now. We can toss the next location. Yes. Nope. That's okay. We'll kill these guys. No weapon on them, though, anymore. Running a little low on supplies. Gotta get a bit crafty here, given that, yeah, we were supposed to loot more weapons by now, but I guess some of them fell down, and we'll just have to figure out where everything went. Whoops. Okay, let's go around. mean, I'd say why don't they have low gravity mechanics like this more often, but who's to say there isn't in one of the places I haven't done yet or something. Yeah, okay, that's the spike ball guy. We have a fragile weapon right now, and the thing is I want a new weapon as a base for the spike ball. I thought I'd knocked one down somewhere. There's something. Weapon, I hope? Horn. Okay, not good. Because we need to fuse something onto this to get the spike ball going. We might have to find somebody else first. Yeah, let's go back to the spike ball guy, I think. We need something not fragile. Get the most use out of that, since that is one of the better weapons I can get, at least until I can get up to the Captain Reaper. Bomb barrel's up here, though. We take a hover platform. Do we have a hover platform? Drag it down. Out of range. Okay. Maybe we can go up and get one. Sure, let's do the other fight first. I'm way too low on weapons because we missed some loot. That was probably... Oh, nope, fan spear's down. Okay, we've got nothing. Ugh. Maybe I use a throwing weapon. Let's see here. I must have disarmed somebody who just dropped a weapon off a cliff or something. Unless we blew it up by mistake. Unfortunately, this doesn't get far enough. Okay, we've got no weapon right now. That's bad news. Yeah, we can tag somebody with a thrown weapon and get some knockback on him. I spent way too much of this stuff. What is this? Can't tell what that is. Oh, that's an emitter. We can try to disarm somebody here. That's not gonna work. We might have to restart this one just from lack of weaponry. There's a jump location over there. There's a lot of stuff going on here that we didn't really... Or we can use Ultra Hand with a spike ball. Or we can use Ultra Hand with this once we activate it. Except we don't have a way to activate it. Yes, we do. We can throw something at it. Okay. Put him around. Come on, get over here. Dare you. Double dare you. Oh, that totally would have worked too. Except we're probably going to lose this attempt now. It one-shots him. Like, you just need to pick it up and... Yeah, we'll have to salvage this somehow. I think this is probably a lost attempt though. Just given that we can't take a single point of damage, not even from the fire arrow. We know is going to become an issue later. Or from our own beam, for that matter. Oh. Okay, sword goes down. We should follow it down so we can get a sword also. Let's not get zapped. We need the sword. We can get sword on a spike ball, that'd be best. I hope he didn't merge with it first. Oh, Captain Two Blades is already merged. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. We'll take it. We'll disarm this guy and then go spike ball. Going back up to that beam, though, might be a good idea. Because then if we throw the beam emitter, we can continue to use it in additional platforms. We need to take out Fire Archer, actually. That guy's the worst thing here by far. Basically, it would take the beam emitter. And just drop it down here, for instance. And we can kind of preload it for this fight. It's a nice thing about infinite battery. Oh, he totally does have a spike ball. That's very, very bad news. Okay, good, good, good. Pick it up. And let's guard him. Alright, wanna step out? Wanna play? Dare you. Actually, yeah, the AI doesn't try to cross beams. It will deliberately try not to cross the beam, in fact. Oh, we zapped ourselves. Okay, that's too bad. That's okay. That was, again, a learning experience. We overspent thrown weapons too early. We understood that the beam is very, very good. And that it also allows you to zone out the enemy. Not as good as the first attempt, but yeah, let's not bother with the fan. The fan's not great. We should actually go for spike ball immediately, because that will give me the most progression. Wouldn't stick with it, yeah. Unless, of course, this guy activates immediately, in which case... Hang on. Use... Pick it up now. Mine. Mine. Not yours. Mine. It's okay, he doesn't do much without it, so... Got a construct bow that we can't use on anything yet. And yeah, always pick up more weapon bases, so let's grab that. And we should actually have a bomb or something available, but rockets will work too because we don't get within the explosion range. In fact, if we just whack this next guy, we can get up to the rocket right away and save it for other enemies that are a little better for that. So yeah, we got a lot of sticks at this point. A long stick would be pretty good, say throwing weapon potentially, so let's say, yeah, of course throwing weapon with a rocket is going to be one use, but the weapon power is also pretty good, so might even be able to just whack some of them. Club. Okay. Again, we'll ascend through it. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not going to bother with a fan. We're getting enough use out of that. And which side first? Those guys first. Although we do this side first. Yeah. That's the one with the bombs. Let's go this side first. Again, we'll try to prioritize spike ball while we still have it. Reaper and the beam that matter. We should merge into the beam emitter with something. Long stick because it'll point straight. Like I said, because it'll point straight. Look at that, no fall damage. Which for a glider run is amazing. I want to hear your results of trying to build something to drop down in the shrine. Yeah, since I'm already down here, go ahead and spoil away. And tell me what you did. Yeah. Hopefully it wasn't as expensive for you as it was for me. We know Beam Emitter is going to be good. We know Captain Reaper is going to be amazing. We know Rocket Spear might allow me to control some of these right away. In fact, we control some of these with the Bomb Barrel using Rocket Spear. Be in pretty good shape. Let's ascend again, with gravity being what it is. Made a concrete cube, sat inside and dropped it down. Yeah, I don't have concrete available. But I was thinking it would have to be something like that because of the weight. Basically, the platform that I was using for the drone flight, it was designed to give me tons of elevation, and as a balloon-style iron grating, it was not going to give me what I needed. So, okay, let's try to keep this one under control. I think. Hang on. This is time for the Rocket Spear. Let's... We missed. Okay. We missed spectacularly. I think this is the time for more clubbing. Yeah. Spike Ball is actually going to solve most problems here. Oh, don't do that. Good. Soldier Reaper. We're in good shape as long as we don't die to the Flame Arrow. Which is all the way up there. Yeah, we can actually get to the Fire Arrow first. Using the hover platforms or something, that would be preferred, because then we can just drop down from there. Because that guy is a much bigger problem. So, you just Mario Galaxy across this way. As soon as it hits the laser, it shuts the gate and stops from getting to the bottom. Okay. I guess we've found out... well, I mean, I guess we didn't have to find that out the hard way. The laser traps work like that. Nice thing about hover platforms is they do give you a send. Which means we should be able to take on the fire guy. Oh. In fact, we'll just ascend and continue. And hopefully jump somewhat accurately. I don't know if I'll get quite enough elevation here, but we'll try it. We won't. We won't. Okay, that's fine. We'll even take fall damage, which is unheard of here. Maybe we won't approach that first. Let me see. There's got to be a better way to do it. Gotta be a much better way to do it. Like, look at this pillar over here. Oh, there's a bomb. Okay, rocket, let's go. Also, oh, we're gonna fall and take damage. Yeah, we can't. Hey, come on, get out. Get out, get out, get out. Let me out. No, let me. Oh, come on. No, we're gonna die to this nonsense. We should have just hit ascend for that. Why didn't we? That was such a fun run, too. Okay, we'll do this. I will probably have to log off after this shrine, because, again, this is just a short bonus stream today. But we will do it. Same idea, we're going to go Spike Ball first, because it is by far the best thing here. Need to make sure we don't activate this guy too soon. Yeah, so it's a bombable platform that takes you up top, but that's not going to be helpful if we don't have a glider to go through that anyway. Fine. Fine. Okay, it gives me quicker on the draw. That simplifies this completely. Even to get a Captain 2 horn on it, which actually we should be using. But let's go up here. Yeah, it looks like the best way up to that archer is supposed to be maybe to get pushed up there with ascend, or I don't know if you can ascend while you're in midair though. I feel like you can't, like if you're not standing somewhere. But whoa, what a fall! Beautiful landing though. A little corner scramble there isn't going to work here, though. Really well enough. So yeah, I guess the lasers are a security system, not a damage system, and I didn't realize that. Oh, come on, get out of here. No wonder we used to rocket with him previously. We should still, in fact. In case I can't get in range. No, we can get in range. We just need to be careful with damage from this point on. Oh, whoops. Gently, please. The stick will get at least one rocket launcher. You know I'm gonna take two. We're gonna stay on the spike ball as our first option anyway. Yeah. The fire archer is actually the last guy. I mean, he is the toughest one by a long shot. Well, that happened. You know what? Why can't we just send through here? This should be within range. Surprise. Yeah, spike ball is before. As I said, I can never estimate ascend range. I feel like it doesn't feel consistent. It probably is consistent, but it doesn't feel consistent. So. Rocket club for this guy? No, we can probably just whack him. It's just shield though. It's just assume a bit of durability here. Good. Down. We can probably jump across that one if we have some hover platforms to assist. We should do that without things throwing rocks at me. So let's just do this cautiously. We can. And go iron ball against this guy as well. Captain 2. Gotta be aware of that guy over there, but if we can prioritize the archer, that'll make it much easier, so... let's... do it. We need one hover platform there. That's okay. Yeah, one hover platform, we'll place it over there. That'll get me over. And we need to take out that side anyway. But that's okay. No, archer first, because he's a pain. So. Let's maybe aim our jumps. Getting maybe a little bit impatient, but we'll fix it. Okay. Or we can grab the other one too. Yeah, just to make things a little easier on myself if I can. So I have a few targeted landing points in case I miss. Exactly what I needed. Now we do need the hover platforms beyond this point. Also, we can probably toss from here. Beat these guys. Oh. We can do it with a stick throw, actually. Excellent. Okay. Oh, let's place some platforms here so we have somewhere to walk. Yeah, something gets throw it like a rocket. Yes, we do. Oh, come on. Controller. Work with me. Oh, that good. That's okay, we'll get down there and back him. Punch this up against a wall. Be easier for me to jump against a wall. And then ascend. Okay, then we just go melee against this guy before he can react. Excellent. Arrows down here too, which means we can just pelt at this point probably. Actually, you know what? Would be fun ammunition work here. Captain Horns, Zonite charges. Fire. Horns. Captain Horn. Get him nice and hard. Nope, guess not. Or fire. Beautiful. This was so much fun. This one. I'm very pleased with what we saw. We used up so much on the map, though, that there's not much left for me to loot and attach. But we don't need more attachments right now anyway. What we need is more weapons. So... this is on the short list for best shrine of the game we've seen so far. Absolutely on the short list. Like I said though, today is just going to be a short bonus stream, so I am going to be logging off after this one. We'll start from this shrine probably tomorrow. For the first time since this game's release, I think we will not actually be playing Zelda at a regular nighttime stream, simply because plan A is going to be to do Mario Maker. And it will be on a bit of a delay because I'll be waiting on the GDQ relay race, which conflicts directly with my usual time. That's plan A. That's assuming that we can get all the levels together and get the stream together properly. If we can't do it, then we'll bump Mario Maker to tomorrow and we'll do more Zelda today. But there will be some kind of additional stream in the usual late night / early morning block. Thank you so much for the GG. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did, but you know, I enjoyed that so much that as a tall order. However, you are here, Snake Behavior, having arrived at this location, so perhaps you've had a chance to play this yourself and experience how absolutely glorious it is. Do the lasers deactivate? No, they don't. So sailing up through here is not actually useful unless you build another vehicle with a shield. However, you can exit out the front door now, which is beneficial so long as you don't stand into lava. So yeah, we're not going to continue today, but let's see what's going on here. Whether this does anything anymore. Nope. So yeah, we're out the front door. It's probably easier to ascend out the outside then, if we don't have a glider to... On the other hand, if the beams just trip gates that are below you, ascending up here should be no problem then, right? Like, if all they do is trip additional gates. Also, more zonite, which is great. We needed that for all those flux cores and such that we've been looting. Maybe we should go up. Let's just see. But I also want to see, do I need anything else from this particular station? Homing cart, beam emitter, flame emitter. It's hard to get homing carts, but we hardly even know how to use homing carts. I think just given the rarity of some of this stuff, we should actually put in another batch. Gonna regret it when we run out of battery for some other flight, but we might as well grab things while we're here. That's my thinking. Because those items are not necessarily that easy to come by. Yeah, if the beams don't do damage, then we'll just build a drone and go up. Or we'll find out very quickly. We're so low in zonite, though, I don't know if that's a good idea. But we'll want to leave this area anyway, somehow, so... let's figure it out. If it fails, we're just going to log off for today. We'll see if they do damage or trip gates, but if they just trip gates, there's no problem. We'll just build like this. And we're so low on zonite, it's like early game all over again. Then we're going to do the recall maneuver and then activate it on the updraft, so we don't tumble over on the way. We can just fly it in now, I mean, I could just do that, but no, we'll do it this way just to straighten things out. And we'll pop the controls. There we go. Hopefully running into lasers all over the place will not be a problem on the way up. Yeah, there's no problem actually. Battery might be a bit of an issue here in a moment. Whoa. That's okay because we have a gate. And battery will just recharge on this. So actually having a platform is fine as long as we... yeah, we'll just reload battery. So now we know how this works. Except we need to not trip up on not having a centered flight. That's the only thing. No, we can still do it. We can still do it. What is this? However, given that we're just reloading from the end of the shrine, and I think we'd need to... Yeah, we actually do keep the weapons. I don't think we kept the homing carts and everything, though. Yeah, we'll give it one more shot. But then I actually have to go, so... We just need to have a centered flight. Oh, whoops, nope, that's not the button I wanted. Okay, that's okay. I got battery. And spending charges here is not a bad idea, given the power depletion of what we are about to do. Probably needed to spend those anyway, so let's just take this out. Come on. Why don't we just try flying it in directly instead of doing the recall thing? Make sure we're appropriately centered. Pull back a bit. Reposition. Just keep the camera pointed up and make sure we don't hit the wall. We need to spend some additional charges, but then we have a smooth flight. None of that should matter. No, hang on. We should have spent some batteries. I thought we were going to make it up top, but... We need to spend very few batteries. That's okay. That's the right way to fly it, though. And yeah, we actually should have done a recall to save some battery life on the initial levels for us. So we don't need to have it consume power to achieve lift. Okay, we'll make slight improvements. Whoops, nope, not recalled yet. We need it. I'll try hand first. Dead center. And back. Recall. And we should prepare to use a few batteries anyway. We pull back before we run into things. Okay, that's a little aggressive. But we don't do that specifically. Oh, come on, we're stuck. You gotta be kidding me. We had such a good flight previously. No, let's not do it with the recall. I can't see where I'm going. This is such a simple thing to do, too. Which, of course, I could have done with the glider, but... alternative solutions do exist. We do want to use this as a potential flight point. Yeah. We've been doing fine so far. Apart from shrines where you're not allowed to build and therefore can't use alternate solutions to the glider problem. Okay, let's try it again. We will need battery. Let's not get too much thrust up front. Let's try to maintain position. Just watch our camera here. And our battery. A couple of charges should do the trick. I don't think I need a full large charge. We were right near the top previously, so... No, hang on. More battery, please. Here we go. Another happy landing. Okay, that's it for today. That's the end of the stream. Look at that. It totally gives you a wind gust that comes directly up, too, from the outside. Oh no, that's just from one of the other ascension points. Yeah, we actually should have done it from the lowest level, because then less power consumption if we hop from point to point. But, live and learn. Now we know. I do manually save end of stream, James D. That's the only time I manually save. And regardless, you know, this isn't very significant what we just did, so... That is the closest I come to any kind of save and reload. And it might make an impact depending on how our next flight from this point goes. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. That was an amazing tower and shrine. That was the centerpiece of today's little session. Like I said, probably Mario Maker today, depending on how I can get things organized. But we'll be doing as much Zelda as we can, as often as we can, for the foreseeable future. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day ahead of you. Possibly see you in a few hours' time. Have fun with this game. We'll send you on to someone else. Thanks for watching, and for the GGs and everything else. Until we meet again, as always, fare thee well.